Welcome, Wanderer. You call upon the Obsidian Grimoire once more. Its pages are heavy with anguish and terror. I am the Keeper, cursed to guard its words and speak what time would see forgotten, to guide you into the darkness where memory and myth entwine. Come closer and hear a tale that longs to be remembered.
The road to Dorrin's Hollow was thin and sun-bleached, winding between fields of dying grass. Jonathan followed it because it was the only road left to follow. He was a man who had forgotten what he'd been running from, the kind of man the world forgets back. When he reached the valley, he saw a village too alive for the season. The air was hot and dry, but their fields were green, and the smell of bread drifted from open windows. Chickens strutted fat and glossy. Children laughed in the square, yet not a single crow turned in the sky. They greeted him warmly, almost too warmly. "Traveler, you've the look of work in your hands," said a man with a mayor's chain of dull brass. "We've need of a drawman. Ours passed not long ago, God rest him." Jonathan frowned. "A drawman? A simple job," said the mayor, smiling. "You tend the well, keep the rope clean, make sure the water runs true. Nothing more." After months of wandering, it sounded like peace. He accepted without another thought. The well stood at the heart of the village, ringed with moss-dark stones. Its wooden frame was old but sturdy, the rope thick and damp to the touch though the sun burned high. The bucket was iron and heavy, inscribed with curling scratches too deliberate to beware. When he leaned over, light failed halfway down, and a faint sound rose. A slow, uneven breath that might have been wind. They showed him to the drawman's cottage beside the square, already swept and stocked, as though they'd known he would come. On the table sat a fresh loaf of bread, and beside it, a small wooden cup of the well's water. He drank, and the taste was strange, cool and sweet, like rain that had fallen long ago. Weeks passed. Jonathan learned the rhythm of Dorrin's Hollow, the bell that marked dawn, the farmers who came to draw water and thanked him by name. They left offerings at the well, flowers, crumbs, coins balanced on edge. When he asked about it, the baker's wife only smiled. "The hollow pays its debts," she said, as though it explained everything. At night, he dreamed of the well. The rope beside his bed glistened in moonlight, and he woke to the sound of dripping, though the roof never leaked. As midsummer neared, the hollow grew busy. Doors were painted with white clay, wheat harvested early, and quiet songs carried through the dusk. They called it the Feast of Flowing Fields. "It marks the hollow's gratitude," the mayor told him. "Each decade, we honor the one who serves." When Jonathan asked who that was, the mayor's smile faltered. "You'll know soon enough." The night before the feast, he saw the candles, hundreds, circling the well like stars fallen to earth. From every house came a low murmur, a single phrase repeated until it blurred with the wind. He stepped closer, lantern trembling in his hand. The air above the well seemed to move, a shimmer, a pulse, as though the darkness itself drew breath. He leaned over and saw ripples spreading across the surface, though nothing had fallen in. His reflection wavered, and for the briefest moment, it seemed to smile back. By dawn, the villagers had turned solemn. They dressed him in a clean white shirt, placed a wreath of wheat upon his shoulders, and called him Good Drawman. Children followed him in a small parade, tossing petals. He tried to laugh, but no one joined him. As evening fell, the laughter stopped entirely. The singing changed, low, rhythmic, ancient. The well was uncovered, candles lit anew. He saw that the rope had been laid out in a perfect spiral, leading from the well to his cottage door. A chill crept through him. "What are you doing?" he whispered. The mayor's eyes glistened. "We're keeping the hollow alive," When they reached for him, he bolted. He ran through the square, scattering candles, his boots slipping on wet stone. Behind him came the chant. No cries, no shouts, only the same low rhythm rolling from every throat in unison. Words too old to be understood, pulsing like a heartbeat beneath the earth. He turned down a narrow lane. More voices rose ahead, the same tone, the same syllables, steady as drums. He ducked between cottages, leapt a fence, stumbled through a yard. The chant never broke, never faltered. It came from every direction now, blending with the toll of the church bell. Windows flared with candlelight as if answering some unseen command. The streets twisted, folded, turned him around. He ran until his lungs burned and burst into the square once more. The well waited at its center, haloed in flame. The villagers stood around it in perfect circle, their song rising and falling like the tide. The mayor stepped forward, voice woven into the chant. It always leads back, Jonathan. The hollow draws what it's owed. He stumbled backward. Stay away from me! The blacksmith caught his arm, his face blank, his eyes reflecting the candlelight like still water. Hands closed around Jonathan, not rough, not hurried, but absolute. They guided him to the well, the chant deepening to a single, resonant hum. The rope, slick with dew, was coiled across his chest, each loop tightening with calm precision. He kicked, shouted, cursed, but the sound drowned beneath the song. The villagers moved as one, pulling, knotting, lowering, a living mechanism of faith and fear. The air grew heavy with the smell of wet stone and iron. The mayor leaned close and whispered against his ear, "You'll make the hollow full again." They lifted him over the rim. The stones were cold and slick beneath his fingers as he struggled for purchase. Someone murmured a prayer, not for him, but for the harvest. The chanting stopped. For one breath, all was still. Then the rope began to slip through their hands, slow and deliberate, squealing softly against the wood as he was lowered into the dark. Jonathan looked up, saw their faces, pale in the firelight, motionless as statues, and then only the ring of light above him, trembling and shrinking until it vanished completely. The well went silent. Then, from somewhere distant and high, the first drops of rain began to fall. By dawn, the rain was steady and sweet. The villagers gathered in the square, faces turned upward, eyes closed. The Drawman's blessing, they whispered. The crops straightened, the wells filled, the hollow lived. A year later, a traveler came down the thin, sun-bleached road. The fields shone gold, and laughter drifted from the square. The mayor met him with a smile. "You've the look of work in your hands. Ever worked a rope and bucket?"
The tale is told, and the burden returns to me. The grimoire closes, yet sorrow clings to those who listen. Beware thy path, lest the dark take you. Until we meet again at the turning of another page.